first in that line. I'm proud of that, because I can always say I was the first supermarket manager in Halifax. I got £9 a week. The dearest item on the van was a tin of John West salmon at 1.11. We had a van that used to go up Sorby. One farmer had a pony, and he put the grocery order inside the saddlebags, and the horse would walk to the road. We'd take the note out of the saddlebag, fill it up with groceries. The money was in the saddlebag as well. So we'd set the change back in the bag, slack it on his bum, and it would walk back, he'd take the groceries home. And another farmer would leave a sledge at the gates, and the lads used to have to walk across the fields pulling the sledge with groceries. And that's the thing I like about that time of year, was we made sure that those who couldn't get there, we got to them, and it was brilliant. I enjoyed that. I can only remember in 17 years 2 or 3 days that I didn't get round. I've shoveled tons and tons of snow to get round. A van once came out to me with some work with our workforce on to dig us out, and we lost the van for a week. It was covered in snow for a week, and that was up on Occupation Lane. It was just buried. Not the men in it. They'd got out. They'd walked over the snowdrifts towards St John's Church at Bradshaw, and we had to dig about a quarter of a mile, and that took best part of 6 hours. 4 men digging, and that was in 62, 63. I enjoyed working with the old people. We used to go to the flats for the people who couldn't get out to the shops. We were able to bring the shop right into their door for them. So we could go in, knock on the door, pick out the shopping list, take it out to the van, get the groceries ready, take them back in, and sometimes I've been prepared meals for people who was bedridden, made them a cup of tea, made them a sandwich, and sometimes I was the only person that they saw. Till the next day or next couple of days I came by with the van and called in again. There wasn't the services then that there are today, where you've got carers going in and looking after old people. It was done by your relations and relatives doing that service. So, and some didn't have relations, so they relied on the neighbours. So I class myself as a neighbour to this area, and that stands out to me more than anything. Not the long hours that we worked, and in the winter time, struggling around in the snow, trying to make sure we got round. I got round to see to these old people who couldn't get out. You know, they were my main concern, and I enjoyed that side of it. You see, it wasn't a hard task. It was an enjoyable task, and I think if you can go through life when you start work and just look back and say, I enjoyed doing that, that is worth a lot more than £9 a week. Nobody can put a price on that.
The town planners tried to provide everything the future community might need, but apart from the pub and the library, for most of the 50s and 60s, there was little to do in Mixenden. But everyone likes a party, and it wasn't long before the annual Gayla started and provided the community with a chance to dress up and have a laugh.
I remember the Mixenden Gaylas as a teenager, and they used to put these big marquees up on wooden dance floors, and we used to have live groups, and that as a teenager in Mixenden was sort of absolutely fantastic.
There used to be hundreds of children, but where have all the children gone? There's nowhere near as many children now. But then people don't have the same sort of families now.
As a child growing up, it were very much families that stayed and their families stayed, and now it's a different turnover of people that come for a couple of years. There's people from all over the country come to live in Mixenden, which at one time they were all sort of local people because the housing was so badly needed in Halifax, so it tended to be Halifax people, but now there's people from all over the country.
The new estate was designed to provide all the facilities a growing population needed. Shops, pubs and a community centre were built, and although the old Mixenden Village School remained open, another newer school was built in the middle of the estate.
I came here in 1994 and I came as a teacher to what was then Stanley Green Junior School, and at the time I came it was just joining with Ash Tree Infants to make Ash Green School. So I worked on the Stanley Green site for a couple of years, and then we moved on to one site down here in 1996. In November, I think it was, 1997, I became the head teacher, and I've been the head teacher ever since. And then of course in 2000 and back in 2004, what was Mixenden Community Primary School closed, and we opened a second site of Ash Green in 1st January 2005. So we've now got two sites of Ash Green, and I'm the head teacher across both sites. And we also made it even bigger by opening a children's centre on the 1st of January as well, which is on our third site opposite the lower site. So we've actually 3 sites, and we've got well over 100 people working for us now, so it's a big organisation. I find people really supportive. I don't think you can have an outstanding school in any community if it hasn't got all the community behind it, and that to me showed that it's got the backing of all our governors, all our parents, all our children, a lot of the older people that live in Mixenden that help us out a lot, and I think it just shows what a brilliant area it is, because if it wasn't, we couldn't have achieved that, because everybody supports the school and everybody supports each other, and that's what a good community should do. I like to do the school plays because of the confidence they give all our children. If you have to stand up and speak in front of a lot of people, or if even worse, you have to stand up and sing in front of a lot of people on your own, that gives you a tremendous amount of confidence as a person, and that's why I like to do those every year at school, because I like to see our children brimming with confidence like they are when we put it on at the theatre. So that's one reason I like to do it. But the other reason I like to do it is we do 5 performances now and we sell over 1,000 tickets for that, and that's because everybody outside Mixenden now knows how brilliant they are and thinks, look at what those Mixenden children can do. And so we've got a really good reputation as well as in Mixenden. That reputation's spreading outside Mixenden, so everybody knows how talented our children are, how professional and how confident.
A fellow once said, if you have a garden and a library, you have everything you need. Well, he weren't a drinking man then, was he? But nonetheless, a library was built before the pub, and outlived it as well.
They were going to build this library at Mixenden. This was in 1960. And my sister, she worked in the libraries, and she says, why don't you apply for a job, Margaret? So I applied, and I got a part-time job. And when I say part-time, I mean part-time. I worked 8 hours in a whole 4-week period. And I earned 4 shillings an hour. I used to take home about £2.50 something a month. And my husband used to say to me, that's your money, you've earned that. Buy your tights with it, buy some lipstick, buy anything that makes you happy. So we did. Wood Harris, which was a company in Halifax, opened a subsidiary company called Pat in a mill called Moran Mills at Mixenden. So I applied and I got this job. But I also still had this job at the library, and I wanted to keep my little part-time job. But also I liked that part-time job. I liked working in the library. I liked working with the public, the people, the children. So for the next 23 years, I worked up at the mill at Moorend and also at the library. And then after 23 years at Moorend, that closed down. And I went to work and I worked more hours in the library. And I got more and more involved with the people, the children, the schools, everything. And it just became a way of life. I really enjoyed the times that I worked at the library. The library was a little hub of the community. People had come in and they'd want help, how to find books, what books to read. The children would want help with their homework. There'd be story times, activities. We used to do displays. Yeah, I enjoyed my life in the library and my work, yeah. And I was sorry when I had to retire. And I didn't want to retire, but the council said, no, you've got to go. You're too old now, Margaret.
With most of the leisure facilities a bus ride away in Halifax, there was a need for more local activities. Hidden away behind the houses was one of Mixenden's surprises, the bowling club. This was set up by the council and some of the residents, including Billy Baird.
Before this bowling green was built, it was just a wild mass of rocks. They brought in the big earth movers and that, and we could watch it being scraped away day by day. It was a mountainside, and then they levelled it out. In 1979, we were told this bowling club was going to be made. So I got interested in it with a councillor called Geoffrey Hall and another two lads that lived here. And we formed a bowling club, and from 1979 up to now, that was my main enjoyment. There were people who lived in Mixenden and didn't even know there were a bowling green here. When other clubs come and ask people where it was, they didn't know. And when we used to get Yorkshire Cup games here, we always got them here. I used to go out on a Friday night with another lad, and we used to put placards on the lampposts and that, pointing to the bowling green. When it come in the morning, the lads had all finished up there shouting down how they would get. The children had turned them round the... That was things that happened, you know. They laughed at us when we first started. None of us had ever bowled before. And in 5 seasons we went from Division 7 to Division 3. That's the elite. First, second and third division is where all the top teams are. And we got into that third division and we stayed there till the club finished. Well, a good 10 years we stayed. We were equal to the top clubs in the Ireland League.
Played twice a week for years and years. I don't think I missed many matches. With 3 good teams here. We won quite a few leagues and that, yeah.
It was a privilege to get a Yorkshire Cup match on your green, and we got quite a lot. And all the competitions that's run in Halifax, the big competitions, we always got them here. We started the Cup for children with learning difficulties. Then they travelled from all over England. Liverpool, Barnsley. They come here and we made a day of it for them, and made a really good day. the Mayor of Halifax used to come and hand out the trophy at the end of the day.
The church used to come and one or two other churches, St Mary's and one or two at the one at Homefield, used to come in summer and on a Sunday and used to have games, you know, different teams taking one, churches taking one another on. Yeah, it was quite a good day, yeah. Everybody who used to come down, up teams, they all said, what a beautiful setting, and it were in summer. Don't whack this, well, it was beautiful.
I myself went and put posters up in the library, church, all the shops put them up for us. Nobody come and joined. Now you hear them now, oh, I'll go down and play. Why didn't they come when we asked for them? It's beautiful here in the summer. Yeah, but that's the way it's, the cookies crumbled now. It was the people that weren't interested. I like people to know they're welcome to come up here. We've always made them welcome.
But ours we come and watch. I come here many times. Many times. The only thing about it, all the friends I used to come along, they all seem to died off. All my good friends them. We used to sit there, all along there. The railing used to be here, and we just have a good laugh, cup of tea, and so forth. I miss those people.
Well, my father, I believe that he was a founder member of the